Good morning, everyone. It's lovely to be here. I got all my stuff done. Most of my stuff. I haven't made my salad yet. It's not matching, is it? I think I got the shirt wrong, but no problem. Okay, we have lots to talk about. First things first. Sneakers. Okay. They're massively ugly. Look at that shocking pink. I hadn't really noticed it. It looks amazing. I don't wear pink, but wow, maybe I should wear pink. This actually looks insane against my skin color. Interesting. So they're super, oopsie, don't look at underneath. They're crazy ugly, aren't they? But I somehow like the ugliness of them. So this is the Asics Gel Excite 10, which means that now previously I was wearing New Balance, and I loved those New Balance, and I'd had them for years and years and years, but they were done and dusted. The problem with this color is that it doesn't match all my outfits, so I can wear it with blue, but I can't wear it with black. It's a tricky color to, and you know, when I go on these drum and bass rides, it's really important that I match, or just generally, I just need to match. But what it does mean is that finally my wardrobe's 99.99% completely Japanese. I had told you that every single thing in my wardrobe's Japanese, but actually there's one coat, two really, that are Italian. One that I got from a shop in Tokyo, but it was made in Italy. So I don't really count it as still from Japan, right? But the other coat, I actually bought it in London, and it's an Italian, it's made in Italy. So I can't get rid of this coat because I love it so much, but it means that I'm not 100% Japanned out. Once I am, that will give me a lot of satisfaction. But yeah, I'm really happy that finally I've got a pair of Asics. I've not been sure about Asics in the past. I've never worn them previously. So to get to this pair of Asics, I tried a New Balance, which I really hated. I don't know what's going on with New Balance and doing these really massive, thick soles. It's not my vibe at all. I'm not trying to walk on space, my friends. Just want to run. Then I tried Brooks, and I really like how lightweight these Brooks are, but it was too small and I couldn't find the right size in the sale, so return them. But I'm still looking out for a pair of Brooks. I'd like to try them. And it didn't look like there was much grip on the sole, which sort of turned me off the Brooks. And then I tried another pair of new Asics, which I didn't like, and I returned them. And then we've got this Gel Excite. It's light, and yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. So I'm ready for running next year for drum and bass. And hopefully next year is the year where I don't need to buy anything at all, and really, other than, you know, things like socks, underwear, essential items like that. But otherwise, I don't want to buy anything next year. And I'm excited about, yeah, I'm excited about that. So, yeah, they're ugly, no? I think white or cream pair would have been best, or even grey. That's my kind of go-to colors if I want to make sure that it matches everything in my wardrobe. So, what are we talking about today? Very briefly, I was listening to Chaka Khan this morning, Ain't Nobody. Such a tune. It's such a tune. And on Instagram, these people keep doing these line dances to it. And I just love the whole movement of line dancing to R&B soul, not to country, but to R&B and soul. Just looks so cool. I think they were in South Carolina. And I thought it's time to do a trip to America, but not until you guys clean out your, you know, who's in charge, and not until you stop going after Iran. until this current group of people are out. I can't see myself coming into the States, which is a real shame because I keep telling my friend that I will be there soon. She lives in Baltimore. So the two locations that are definitely on my planned list are, of course, New York and Baltimore. I still don't really understand why New York is the one place that everyone's just so stylish. I just don't get it. I don't get why New York is so different to any other place in America. Even the LA lot don't have the same sense of style. It's a New York thing, and I just don't. I need to know how that's happened and why. Baltimore because my friend's there, and yeah, the last time I came into America, I went to LA and I got profiled at Heathrow Airport. It was an Asian guy who profiled me, and there's always something really uncomfortable about having ethnic minority people profile you because they should know better. But he was asking me lots of questions, like this is the first, even before I got through to security. This is really dark. He's like, why are you going to the States? I was like, for a holiday. He's like, how long are you going to be there? I said, I'm not sure yet. Of course, I knew how long I was going to be there. In fact, I didn't really. I had a rough idea, but not completely. I said, I'm not sure yet, but I didn't like the line of questioning. And he said, what's your purpose of going? And I kept saying, for a holiday. And so he stuck this, and I was being defiant, my friends. So he stuck this sticker on the back of my, I noticed it immediately. He stuck this little sticker on the back of my passport. And as soon as I left and got through the initial point in security, I Googled what the sticker, the initials on the sticker meant. And it meant that when she gets through to the next section in security, she needs to be questioned further. I didn't get questioned when I went through the luggage section, but when I got through to after security, there's another section when you're about to board, and they looked at the back of my passport and they saw the sticker, so they started questioning me again. And this time it was a cute guy, Asian guy. And I looked at him and I smiled and I said, you're racially profiling me. I said, this is really inappropriate. What I was really saying to him is that, come now. It's really inappropriate for another ethnic minority person to racially profile me. I don't appreciate it, and you should know better. Bureaucracy winds me up. So again, I didn't answer their questions. So I was kind of in a state of, okay, once I get into the States, it's going to be hard. They're going to be asking me lots of questions. So I was already preparing for that because I was already preparing for a line of questioning that I wasn't going to like and how I was going to approach it. But actually, when I got to LA airport, the guy was just so, he didn't even care. And I was like all bubbly and almost giving too much information to his questions. And he's just looking at me like, I just need a yes or no answer type thing. So it was so effortless in the States. So in my head, I was like, tut tut, Heathrow Airport, tut tut. So yes, I think that if I were to come now, whilst this administration is in place, I think it'll be a little bit more tough just based on my name. And also, I don't want to come during this administration. I don't approve of the way that I don't approve at all of the way that they've started an unjust war against Iran. So no, it's not happening until they're up. Talking about Iran, I was actually, as you know, because of the Westerners and the Africans who are trying to learn Persian, I can't be having that. Can't be having them beating me. I started watching this Love Island It's actually set in Istanbul or in Turkey somewhere. So these Persians have gone into Turkey. Some of them, one of the guys was from Scotland, interestingly, Persian Scottish, but like Persian, but he not Persian Scottish, he's just Persian, but he's moved to Scotland. And one of them was from France. So, but he was born, I think, in France. And I'll tell you some of the things that I've noticed. And since this is an equal, we're fair people on this channel. We 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 don't uh, we don't favor certain cultures over others. We pick out flaws in every single culture because all the cultures have some kind of issue or difficulty. So what I noticed was that initially, first of all, it was difficult for me to completely understand everything they were saying because they were speaking so fast. So I put it at 0.9 speed. Because what you have to know is that the only people I speak to in Persian are my parents. And it's not the kind of language that's going to be difficult because it's just everyday language, right? So there's a huge gap in my vocabulary and in my understanding. And my parents are always on my case about it. In fact, my father sometimes tells me to just speak in English because he can't get through my slower pace in Persian. So I'm gonna show them, you guys. I'm gonna show them. I'm not gonna tell them. I'm gonna secretly be studying. So I thought I discovered this amazing secret to learning Persian, fast track learning or improving my Farsi, which is this Love Island. It's actually called Ishq Abadi, which means love paradise. And I thought it's going to be so easy because it's going to be fun. I haven't taken to any of them. I find them all to be very dry. By that I mean, I would love to sit here and tell you that Persians have so much riz, but none of them have riz. None of them. I don't even find them physically attractive. And I think it's not because they're not attractive people. It's because me being attracted to someone is very much connected to their character and their personality, and just none of them have riz. The only two that have sort of piqued my interest a little bit is one guy who I might play for you, who actually isn't physically, I don't find him particularly attractive, but I like the way he speaks. He's very calm, and out of them all, he seems to have more of a sort of personality than any of them. And the French Persian guy, because he's the calmest out of everyone. He doesn't overspeak. He really takes things in. He's someone who seems to have a lot of character to him. I've taken to none of the girls. Out of maybe 9 or 10 on the show, there are only 2 who are completely natural, and they're actually the most attractive, I think, just because they haven't messed with their faces. It's like the Kim Kardashian effect. She was absolutely beautiful before she had all the plastic surgeries done, and it's the same with these Persian girls. Naturally, they're so beautiful, and then they go and get their noses done, their lips done, and you're just like, why? Why would you? Why would you? Okay, some of them have big noses. I know that my nose is a prominent nose as well, and I'm okay with it. I've accepted it, and I've come to realize that it actually adds a lot of character to my face, and maybe that's me just being hyping myself up. But yeah, I do. I often think if my nose was smaller, would I look the way that I do, or would I have? I don't think. I don't think I would. And it's my dad's nose, and a little bit of my mom's nose, and I'm not trying to get rid of my. Yeah, I'm not trying to get rid of what's been given to me. So I look at these girls with their really unnatural looking nose jobs and these big lips, and I'm just like, you don't look. All I can focus on now is your nose and your lips. Like, I'm not. So it's a shame what's happening. And then the boys, a couple of the girls as well, just tatted up everywhere. And so you start to focus on the ones who aren't tatted up, and it's just so refreshing and beautiful. So it's really funny how it's a really funny thing that when you when you're a Persian who's outside of Iran, you actually are more, in a way. I don't even consider myself a conservative person because I'm very open-minded. But when I look at the Persians from inside Iran, just like we're so kind of different. So I look at them, and whilst I connect with them on some level, I recognize that I'm not 100% Persian. I'm not obviously 100% British because I'll never be accepted as being British in the UK. So I'm just this sort of, I'm in limbo. The only way I really fit in is in my family structure, probably. Even then, occasionally I'm like, but no, I fit in my family structure, and occasionally, well, I do fit in with drum and bass culture, I guess, but not really because they're so different to me as well within drum and bass culture. I'd fit in with the music, but not necessarily the people. So I think I said in that comment in my last video that it's nice, there are benefits of being an outsider because when you don't fit in anywhere, you have a lot of freedom. You don't feel that you have to behave in a certain way. You don't feel like you have to think in a certain way. You can be whoever the heck you want to be. So I'm watching these Persians, and I think a couple of things that I notice very clearly is that they're really emotionally intelligent, both the men and the women. They can just express how they feel so easily. And I think this is very much part of Persian culture. They're very much in touch with their feelings and their soul. So I've always had to cut that aspect of myself because I've sort of always dated outside of my culture, not on purpose. It's just because of what I was around. And so when you are dating outside of your culture, I think especially like with Japanese culture and with Western culture, I think Americans are more emotionally intelligent and in touch with their feelings. But if you're in the UK, not that I've ever really dated in the UK, but you know what I mean. You can't express yourself in the same way because it's almost too much for them. They can't handle it. Whereas I think if you're around Iranians, you can just let loose with how you feel, and they just get it. It makes so much sense. So what I've noticed is that I'm very Persian in that sense. I can just express myself, but I've also noticed that I've cut that aspect of myself to a big extent, to a big extent. And so when I was watching this one episode yesterday, they spent an hour and a half discussing all of them. Not even just like the two who are, or the three who are in this dilemma, but the whole group spent an hour and a half discussing this one guy who can't make up his mind between these two girls, an ex of his that's come into the show, this new girl that's on the show. And it was, by the end, I was just exhausted. I was like, it's just too much. It's too much talking. It's too much thinking. Like, you don't need to be thinking this much. But, I guess it's part of the show. It's just all the drama. They love this kind of stuff. It's for the purpose of the viewer. But I was exhausted by the end of it. And I thought, it's a little bit too much. The other thing that I noticed is that apart from two of the girls and maybe one or two of the guys, none of them smile and none of them have riz. So I love to laugh and I love to be happy, and that's a big part of my personality. When I'm morose, something's wrong. By the way, saffron works. I've been in such a great mood today, probably because the sun's out, probably because I exercised and stretched, but I definitely think it's a lot to do with the saffron as well. I'll keep you up to date on it. So for people who struggle with low moods before their periods, or if you just suffer from, I don't know, depression or anxiety or sadness, then saffron. Try it out, see if it works for you. And I feel today like myself. I feel like who I am. But when I'm watching these girls, I think objectively you can say that they're attractive, even the ones who've had plastic surgery done. But because they've got no rizz and no vibrancy, I can't really feel their attractiveness. And I think it's the same reason that I'm not really connecting with the guys as well. So it's so interesting that you can be part of a culture and still not really fully feel like you're part of that culture. I feel that way about the UK. I feel that way about when I watch Persians sometimes. And so then you think, well, would it be easier if you're dating Persians who are like you, raised outside of the UK? I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I've just not been around them. But certainly the French Persian guy, I feel like he's more of, even though physically, again, I wasn't drawn to him initially, but his character, I really like his character, which makes you think even more than ever that dating apps and putting your picture on a dating app just doesn't work, because I can't see your character on a dating app. It's impossible. And so when that French Persian guy, Persian French guy walked in, I didn't think anything of him at all. But as I've been watching him, because of his character and personality, like, yeah, he's really attractive. And that would never have been apparent or obvious if I'd just seen this guy as a picture or in a dating app. It's not possible. So yeah, I'd love to tell you that these Persians have rizz, but I'm just not seeing it. And I think a lot of character and personality is rizz, slight playfulness. Yeah, not taking things too seriously. So that's what I've really noticed. But yesterday I managed to put it on normal speed, and I'm adjusting. So I'm giving myself 1 year, you guys. And yeah, I'm giving myself 1 year. So let's hope that it has an effect. Let's hope my parents notice, not in one go, but slowly, so that I can just be like, oh, I don't know, it just came into my heart. The words, the vocabulary just come to me. There's one guy who always says this thing. It's very much a Persian thing. He's like, listen to me. And I've realized that I do that a lot as well when I'm speaking in Persian, when I want someone to really listen to me and they're just not getting it. I'm like, just listen to me, just listen to me. This guy says it all the time. Let me play you. One other thing that I've noticed is that this young group of Persians, they have this lot. We say lot in Persian or in Farsi, which means sort of ruffian. And none of them are ruffians, but they've got this casual way of speaking, which is a tone. If I compare the way my parents speak to the way these younger people speak, it's really different. I don't like the tone. I don't like the way they speak. And I want to speak like the way my parents speak. It's loose. In Farsi, we have this word called loose, which means a little bit, I've never been able to translate this word into English. Sort of like loose, like spoiled. It's a spoiled way of speaking. The girls have it, and the guys just speak like lots. So these two are actually the two that don't speak like that. The girl, she's got this high octave voice that doesn't, a lot of Persian girls have this tone, doesn't do anything for me. But I like the way this guy speaks. And, well, out of them all, other than the French Persian guy, this guy has the nicest way of speaking. And this guy is the one who has been caught up in this triangle with this girl. And he's the one, I don't know if I mentioned, he physically doesn't do anything for me, but the more I watch him, the more I like him, the more I find I can see attractiveness in him. So it's all about personality, it's all about character. But if I can't see your character, there's nothing.
الان دیگه نمیخوام با تو برگردم.
I can't vibe with this way of
ولی
speaking.
مرسی که مثلا اومدی دلت هم شده میرفتی. دومی راهت همین بود که بیای بگی که آقا من الان تو اومدی خیلی خوشحالم میخوام با تو برگردم. ما اون همه حرفی که زدی گفتی دوست دارم که با هم باشیم، ما دو تا همو دوست داریم. ما دو تا همو دوست داریم، همینو میگفتی و بعدش برمیگشتی میگفتی که یکم به من فرصت بده، من با سپیده صحبت کنم که به اونم بی‌احترامی نشه و از اون جدا شم. این دو تا راهی بود که یک آدم توی این موقعیت اگر شخصیت درستی داشته، نمیگم شخصیت درست نه، من بی‌احترامی به کسی نمیکنم، اگر شخصیت درست باشه این دو تا راهو داشتی که یک دختر رو اینور اینجوری میتونی به دست بیاری یا اینجوری از دستش بری با اون یکی بخوای باشی. تو الان یه کلمه فقط اینو بگو، تو منو دوست داری یا نداری؟ خب پس چجوری اونم دوست داری؟
قضیه‌شو دارم بهت میگم.
تو به سپیده گفتی من دوستت دارم. چرا با اون دختر
بازی نمیخوام بکنم.
من الان نمیخوام از تو بپرسم که منو دوست داری یا نه که بگم وای آخ جون بیام باهات بکشم. من دارم میگم تو دختر بازی نده.
دوست داشتم من به
تو میدونی مشکلت چیه، نمیتونستی انتخاب کنی بعد ورود من که آقا با این باشم یا با اون باشم. آره میدونم، ولی آدم عاقل اگر کسی رو دوست داشته باشه، من از زندگیت رفتم تو نمیتونستی به من برگردی ولی میگی دوستم داشتی. موقعی که ورود زدم آدم وقتی کسی رو دوست داشته باشه همه چیو میذاره زیر پاش و میره با اون آدم. میگه من احترام میذارم به اون دختر، جدا میشم میام با تو. و یا اینکه انقدر احترام قائلم برای این دختری که اومده تو زندگیم، با اینکه قبلا دوستت داشتم الان میخوام تو اینا. کسی که کسی رو دوست داره نمیتونه تو رابطه جدید بره.
اگه میخواستم خب من که اینو اعلام کرده بودم همون لحظه که اگه این پاشه اینجا بذاره پایین دوست دارم برگردم باهاش، تنها کسی که دلم میخواد برگردم باشه. همون لحظه نمیتونستم واسه بیده کات کنم بگم اوکی من خب برگردم برو جان. باز حرمت گذاشتم.
چون که من شنیدم که تو برنامه خیلی پارتنر عوض کرد.
I really like his voice. I've also noticed something else. The guys' voices have a huge impact on me thinking whether they're attractive or not. Some of them, their voice is the same as the girls. Some of the girls have just not great voices, like really high octave. Sound like they've inhaled helium. A lot of Persian girls have that kind of tone. So anyway, one of the things I do like about her is that she's quite calm. Yeah, it's interesting. They're very emotionally intelligent. They can just speak about their feelings. Japanese men know, British men, in my experience, know. I think American men are much better at expressing their feelings. And yeah, that's one huge thing. I feel like I'm very Persian in that sense. I can really express how I feel and discuss it. And like Candace, like Miss Candace Owens, they have something to say. You can't argue with these people. It's the same with me. You can't really argue with me because I have an answer to everything because I've thought about it already. I've already thought about it and my response is there. And I think that this is very much part of Persian culture. They can really stick up for themselves and that they've already thought about a situation and they're able to just talk. Talking about Miss Candace Owens, it's a segue. She's just incredible, is she not? I haven't watched her for a while because I was just like, this stuff's it's got nothing to do with me. It's none of my business. And then I did watch her last night when she was coming for, not last night, this morning, when she was coming for the BS guy. And yeah, it's like, it feels like America is starting to wake up, guys. And I've not felt that way in a long, long time. She's so intelligent. She's so well spoken. She's so elegant. She's very beautiful. So yeah, I think she's incredibly brave. And the more I watch her, the more I'm just impressed by her. I don't know what went down with the whole her and Erica Kirk thing. You know, obviously she has to be careful. She has a family. Her life is important and at stake, probably. So I don't really judge the decisions that she makes. I think some people came after her in relation to this whole Erica Kirk meeting. But yeah, I was fascinated by her video last night because finally, people are starting to realize it's slow, it's taking its time, but it's happening. It's happening. So yeah, she's incredibly impressive. What else did I want to talk about? 30 minutes. Oh wow. I'm going to be around, I think, a little bit more next week because the holidays are coming up. Of course, I'll probably be around on Christmas Day. It's my most productive day of the year because I get rid of like paperwork, clean up everything. I cook, I clean, I just get so much done on that day. But of course, I'll make time to come on here. And then in January, last year I took a break, I think the whole month of January. I don't know what's going to happen next year, you guys. I can be quite capricious when it comes to this channel, particularly at the moment because I have a lot to kind of figure out. I'm just, I can't continue with the sameness. I can't continue with it. So next year, I'd love to say it's going to be an easy year for me, but I don't know. There are going to be challenges, but bring it on. And then, so I don't know what's going to happen, whether I'll be around or not, but I won't say that I won't be around because sometimes when I'm in the mood, I just want to share my energy. And especially after drum and bass rides, I think the first one in the UK is going to be in February. So I'll certainly be here in February, but other than that, I'm not really sure what's going to happen. Finally, I just want to tell you something quite funny. Do you remember I'd seen that drum and bass ride in one of my favorite sets was in Zurich, and I was thinking, why have I never been to Zurich before? I'd always wanted to go to Geneva because I told you that story about that Geneva guy that I'd met when I was at university, but I'd never really considered Switzerland as a place to travel to. And then I saw the Zurich ride and I was like, I really need to go to Zurich. These people are such a vibe. I think other than the Barcelonians, other than the Spanish, the Swiss lot were incredible. And then I remembered that one of my acquaintances in Japan, there are 3 people that I speak to in Japan, sort of on the regular. 2 of them are people that all 3 are people that I've known for years and years. One of them I've known since I was in my 20s. The other 2, a little bit later than that, but they're relationships that are important to me because these 3 people are now the only people who know me from that period and for that length of time. Is quite incredible, and I'm not really willing to, I want to maintain this friendship and this acquaintanceship. So this guy, one of them out of the 2, he had a place in Zurich, and it was always empty because he's obviously in Japan. He never used it, and I didn't really understand why he had this place. What's the point in keeping this place? He was renting it out if you're never there. But I don't know, he liked having it there, and so it was always empty. And then after the drum and bass thing happened, and I never ask people for things, I'm just not that kind of person. But prior to me seeing this drum and bass ride in Zurich, I'd done a video about this. He'd said to me, if you ever want to use the apartment, let me know. So I'd seen this drum and bass ride in Zurich, and I was like, oh my God, I've got to go to Zurich. So I'd spoken to him about the drum and bass ride, and I'd sent him a video of the drum and bass ride, and I said I'd seen this set, and I really want to go to Zurich. And I said, if your place is available, please let me know. Based on him having offered the place to me, I think he must have seen this drum and bass ride and just thought, what a ruffian. What kind of nonsense is this? What kind of craziness is this? And maybe that had turned him off, me using his apartment. So he didn't say anything in the email. I think I'd mentioned the drum and bass ride in spoken word, but then I'd emailed and asked, if your place is free, please let me know. Maybe I'd even offered to pay something. I'm not sure. Maybe not. And then, so he didn't mention that at all. And I read the air with the Japanese. I know that if they're not responding to something, it's because they don't want to talk about it or discuss it. I've figured them out. So I didn't mention it again. And then this month, he mentioned that he's given up that apartment, but actually this happened after this. It's a recent thing that's happened. And then he said, I'm going to be in Zurich for 3 months, but I'm going to be staying in a different place. And he said, if you have time, please come over and we'll spend the day, we'll hang out. It would be so lovely to see him. This guy's older than me. The two of them, they're friends. They're both older than me. But I had a little chuckle to myself because I thought, well, no, I'm not going to make that investment in time. I can't. Not only because, well, I've got other stuff to think about, but also I suppose I didn't approve of him just ignoring that message. I like people who are straightforward with me. I like people who are honest. And I like people who take accountability. He could have said anything. It's fine. I don't take things personally. And we've known each other a long time. But I felt, okay, there's still a gap. He's still behaving in a Japanese way to me. He's still behaving in a tatemai way with me. Tatemai means in a surface layer way. When Japanese people speak, if they speak to you in a honne way, honne means heartfelt, means they know you really well, you're part of their inner circle. If they speak to you in a tatemai way, surface layer way, it means you're not part of their inner circle, you're still an outsider to them. And this is even within Japanese culture. Usually friends and family they speak to them in a honne way, colleagues and everyone else, it's tatemai. So I was like, after all these years, he's still treating me in a tatemai, outsider type of way. And yeah, I think I was really turned off that he didn't respond to my request, because he was the one that had offered. Like, if you don't want me to use your apartment, then don't say anything at all. But because I don't take things personally, I don't hold things against people. The way that I approach this is, when he said that to me, I was honest with him, and I said, I'm not sure it's going to happen, but if I can make it happen, I'll try. That's how you answer questions in an honest way. That's the reality. If there's a drum and bass event happening in Zurich, drum and bass ride happening in Zurich at the same time that he's there, of course I'll make the effort to go. Otherwise, he can come to London to see me if he wants. He can make arrangements for me to go to Zurich. I'm not giving that time simply based on the fact that he just couldn't be direct and honest with me. And so when people show you how they see you, or they show you who they are, you have to be very grateful. And I don't have expectations of people, but because I don't have expectations of people, I feel no obligation towards them either. Does that make sense? It makes my life so much easier. I have no expectation of you. And at the same time, because I have no expectation of you, I feel no obligation towards you. And I give a lot of myself in terms of time to both of these two guys. I go out of my way to give them my time. And because I go out of my way to give them my time, there is a level of expectation, I suppose, like, okay, just be honest and direct with me. And so if he's choosing not to be like that, no problem, but I'm not going to give you my time in return. And I don't think this is a good thing. I used to be a huge giver in the past, but I've learned to sort of I've learned to prioritize myself because, well, it's important to prioritize yourself, and you need to, it depends. I think people who are givers are salt of the earth, and we need those people in the world. But loyalty is really important to me, and I sift out disloyal people very, very quickly. Doesn't mean that I've changed the way I see him. Doesn't mean that the relationship will break down. Not at all. It just means that in the same way that I'm just going to treat the relationship or the acquaintanceship in the way that he treats it, in a surface layer way, whilst giving as much as I can to him and the other guy. And as I said, this is a fair channel, and we pick out flaws in every culture and every people, everyone, including myself. We all have flaws. I'd also mentioned this Persian friend of mine, and I'd said to you a couple months back that I'd hung out with him, and he was the only person that I'd hung out with this year. And I'd said to you, when I saw him, he'd said to me, we discussed this one difficulty that I'm having, and it's caused so much challenge for me in the past few years, even before I started the channel, and I just haven't been able to get a handle on it. And when I discussed it with him, he said to me, I could have sorted this out for you had you told me. And in my head, I'm like, but you should have read the air, and you know my situation. In my head, I'm like, why didn't you connect the dots? In any case, he was like, let me look into it and let's see what we can do. So I was like, okay, great, thank you. He was the one who suggested it. I didn't say anything about it. I didn't ask him about it. Again, like my Japanese acquaintance, he was the one who offered. He said, let me look into it and I'll come back to you. So I got another message from him a while after that meeting of ours, meeting as in hanging out. And then he said, I'm still looking into this for you, but I'll let you know as soon as I do know. I didn't chase him up on it because I was like, well, if he can do it, he'll do it. And if he can't, he can't. And then yesterday, he messaged me. He's like, how are you? Is everyone okay? He's a family friend. I was like, yeah, everyone's cool. Everything's fine. And I didn't bring that thing up. He didn't bring it up. So now I'm like, okay, again, this is going to be another surface layer relationship. All he had to say to me was, I couldn't work it out for you. I'm sorry, but I did try. That's all he needed to say. Again, because he's the one who's made the offer of helping. So I think I've realized that I have a real issue with people who are not straightforward and honest, and loyalty is really, really important to me, particularly because I don't ask for anything of people. And so, it doesn't change the acquaintanceship or the relationship, but it just means that he's been categorized into another surface layer relationship. If I cannot rely on you, when you've been the one who's offered to help, I haven't even asked, then what kind of friendship is this? What kind of acquaintanceship is this? And this is why I don't spend time with people. I don't have friends anymore. The girl in Baltimore, she's a friend to me. Yeah, she's a friend to me, and she's a real one. Other than her, I really couldn't tell you. So this Persian guy, he actually helped me a lot around the time that my channel had started. Actually, he'd helped me with a lot of stuff in terms of me asking questions about stuff that I needed to do with this house and stuff. So I have him in high regard because he was there. And so that this relationship will continue. But one of his difficulties, and I think this is a Persian trait, and very much a Japanese trait, is that they cannot take accountability when they've made a mistake or when they can't do something. They just sort of sweep it under the carpet. And it's a trait that I don't really respect, especially because I'm so cool and I don't I'm not someone who'll pull you up if you can't do something. I'm just not like that. So it just makes me think either they don't know who I am fully, they can't see who I am fully, or there's an element of cowardice in their behavior. And I suppose it sort of makes me not respect them as much. But yeah, I'm not willing to lose these relationships because there aren't other people around. And I think relationships are really, really important. I have very high standards of people simply because I don't bother anyone and I treat people who are around me very well. So if you're in my small circle, you get all of me. And if you're not, you'll still get my loveliness, but you've been now categorized and I won't go above and beyond for you unless you're in dire straits and you're coming to me for help. And I feel okay with that. I've made peace with that because time is really precious and we need to invest that time in people who are the real ones and who have our backs no matter what. And so I wanted to mention this to you because I didn't want... One of the things I like about Nick Fuentes, I suppose, is that he's a fair person. He pulls up everyone. And I think I'm like that as well. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what creed you are. I don't care what your socio-economic background, what that is. I literally couldn't give a toot about any of this stuff. I care about your character. I care about your principles. I care about your honesty. I care about how you treat people. I care about how you treat me. And yeah, I care about your righteousness. So that's what I'm looking out for. And then if there are gaps or if there are things missing, then c'est la vie. So be it. So I should go. I'm hungry and it's such a beautiful day. I should go out. And I'll see you next week. Carrot soup, I haven't forgotten. I'm going to try and make it tomorrow. I am going to try and make it tomorrow. I'll let you know how I get on. Peace.